it would just haunt me to not know where my child was.
My name is Mary Ellen Jankowski Kellogg. Or I should say Mary Ellen Elizabeth Jankowski Kellogg. Elizabeth being my confirmation name. I grew up knowing that my name was Katrina. It wasn't until later that my mother brought out the adoption papers and I learned that my last name was Ryback. I was born in Syracuse, New York, on or about July 1st, 1950. They picked July 1st as my birthday. I was born in St. Mary's Maternity and Children's Hospital in Syracuse, New York. So between the time I was adopted in 1952, where was I? I've been told that my birth mother's father never would have let her bring me home. He was very stern. My half-siblings never knew about me. My birth mother was 28 when I was born. As of today, we still don't know who the birth father is. I was adopted in December of 1951. My birth mother was giving me up for adoption. She had a change of heart. Then on January 2nd, my mom and dad got a call to come and get me. The funny thing that bothers me to this day is the man who would have been my stepfather. Did he know that my mother, the birth mother, had had a child? Who knows? Because they announced their engagement January 28th, 1952. And I question that to this day. I have asked Mary Margaret. She said, oh no, if he knew that you were born, he would have wanted you. How do you know? How do you know? You don't. So I had a loving growing up. My mom and dad loved us unconditionally. Apparently my mom was always afraid that I was going to get snatched by my birth mother. So she, up until I was like in 3rd grade, she walked me to and from school. Didn't matter the weather, to and from school. My mom would say to me, Mary Ellen, if you ever want to search, I'll help you search. I was so content in my life that I didn't know. I didn't care. I was fine. It wasn't until I had, till we had grandchildren, that I started searching. I remember, but I grew up always knowing I was adopted. And when I got older, I wanted a family that was my blood. I love my mom and dad to death, but I wanted my own. You know, I went to different adoption sites. I filled out forms. They have people called search angels that help you search. The information I have was all I had and never any luck. So through the years, you know, periodically I would look. My sister-in-law, God bless her, we had never exchanged Christmas or birthday gifts. She goes, Mary Ellen, you're going to have a birthday gift coming. I said, Debbie, why? She goes, you'll know. So she is the one that got me the DNA. I found my biological 2 sisters and 2 brothers right before she passed away of leukemia. So she knew. She made that happen. So after I found the DNA test, I got the results back. I was so excited. It's like, where do I start? What do I do? At that time, Mary Margaret had not done her DNA.
I was shook. I was shocked. I was in disbelief that my mother held this secret. You know, obviously learning of it was thrilling. I love every second of knowing it. I love it. But I'm tormented by, it's going to make me cry, by my mom's secret. How could she keep that secret for so long? And the regret, I don't know. I'm going to cry. And I feel sorry for your grandma.
I had 2 brothers, and one was called Michael, one's name was Jay-Z. Then it also popped up that I had a second cousin. So I sent an email to Jay-Z, I sent one to Michael, and I sent one to Lou Ann Gleason. Her account is monitored by her husband. He's the first one that got back to me. And so it was with Jeff Gleason's help that he reached out to Michael and Jay-Z, because they're like, who is this person? You know, our mother never told us that we had an older sister. The only one that still has trouble with accepting me is Michael. He has more trouble with accepting that his mother had a child out of wedlock. Ta-da, here I am. When I started searching for my biological parents, I found out that a lot of my feelings, my insecurities, stem and are the same as a lot of other adoptees. You do feel insecure a lot. You have abandonment issues. When my husband would go out to sea, I couldn't stand the thought of being alone, of being in a house alone. Even though at the time I had 1 child, I needed my mom and dad. So through the years, we always came home. And that is an issue, that the abandonment of being alone, of people just up and leaving, is in a lot of adoptees' minds. New York, so moving forward, some states started allowing for adoptees to search. They would unseal their records. New York State was one of the last states to unseal their records. So it wasn't until January 15th, 2020, that we could now get our original birth certificate. The birth certificate that I have is an amended one. So it had, it had my mom and dad's name on it. It did not have the birth parent's name. And to this day, like I said, maybe she doesn't even know who her fathered me. I don't know. That bothers me. But then I had all the love growing up from my mom and dad. They loved me unconditionally. I did not grow under my mother's heart. I grew in my mother's heart. And if I could spend a day with anyone, I would spend the day with her.